Hello, 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 and welcome to another Inside Scoop with Gifted Travel Network, our first Inside Scoop of 2024. I'm Vanessa McGovern with Gifted Travel Network, and it is my absolute pleasure, true highlight of my week, to be on this very special live stream with some pretty amazing travel advisors within Gifted Travel Network to talk about top trends in travel, top tips for travel entrepreneurship. And we are talking to a group of travel advisors that are among a portfolio of luxury focused travel advisors at Gifted Travel Network who were selected by Condé Nast as Condé Nast Traveler Top Travel Specialists for 2024. So these are travel advisors that are very well versed in the luxury travel space and have a lot of passion for what they do. They serve their clients so very well, and they've got some great insight onto what's happening in the world of luxury travel. And so we wanted to bring this back, as we did do this live stream in 2023. It was very well received. And so we wanted to bring it back for another edition in 2024 so that we could talk to our travel advisors that are part of the Condé Nast Traveler Top Travel Specialist to get their insight, boots on the ground on what is happening in the luxury travel space. So on that note, let's go ahead and get started because we do have, we have six travel advisors that we are going to hear from today. We know time is valuable, so we are going to just get right into it with our first travel advisor so we can start the conversation. I'd like to welcome to the live stream Casey Dye from Travel Theory. Let's see if we can see Casey. Hello, there she is. Good to see you.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Can you believe it's been a year?
No, I thought, didn't we just do this?
But we did.
It's been a year. So yeah.
I think that's a great place to start. So this is now your second year in a row being named to this list. So that's very exciting. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Tell us how your business has changed from 2023 now going into 2024 since the last time you were on this live stream with us.
Yeah, so we've only gotten busier. We have, our business is mainly built on referrals, actually. So we have just kind of like gradually expanded what we're doing as people travel with us and they realize how much smoother it is. They don't have to worry when they go on these trips. Every detail is taken care of. And, they have these amazing experiences and they share it with their friends. And then next thing you know, they're calling us for their trips. So we've just had an amazing year, and it's been wonderful to be able to be recognized by Condé Nast for a second year in a row. So exciting.
You did have an incredible year in 2023. Congratulations on all your momentum. So I want to ask, you mentioned that your business is primarily coming from referrals, which is obviously very common in this space. How is your business now that you're seeing for 2024 in the first quarter? Are you seeing repeat of existing clients from last year and they're booking again and ensuring that they have another amazing travel experience on the books?
Yes.
Or are you seeing new business, or are you just busy because it's both?
It's both. Absolutely. So we have clients that have travel on the books for 2024 and they are already back and saying, we need to talk about 2025 because we want to have a trip on the books and we want to, continue to travel with you. And then, and then the new referral business as well. So it's definitely a mix of existing and new clients.
So would you say that that's one of your top trends right now in the travel industry, as people are already talking about 2025 and making sure that they've got something secure?
Yes, we definitely still have some last minute travel coming up. We have people contacting us now for travel in June, which is relatively last minute in our world. So we do still have that type of business, but we are already talking with people about 2025. Absolutely.
What type of last minute requests are you seeing?
Europe.
Europe.
Yes. Yeah, which is tough, right? Because we know Europe is so busy. And of course, Paris Olympics this year. Taylor Swift is in London in June. So that's affecting something. Yeah. So, but yeah, last minute requests for Italy as well, which Italy is probably our top requested destination again, 2 years in a row, I would say. So
any other top, what are the other trends that you're seeing right now, or maybe that you predict based on your book of business?
Well, depending on the location where people are traveling, we have been talking to people about luxury trains, which we love. So
Luxury
that
train.
is yes, yeah,
Oh,
train travel,
yes.
and not necessarily Amtrak, but like the luxury trains, like the Royal
Mhm.
Scotsman and the Orient Express,
Mhm.
trains like that, the Indian Explorer in South America. So
Yes.
talking to people about weaving in those types of experiences into their trips.
That is something that is very hot right now when you go to travel industry events, and a lot of the different luxury hotel companies are getting into trains as well. I
Yeah.
see that absolutely.
Yeah,
I
and we are
personally want
loving
to do the one in Peru, the Andean and the Belmont. That looks spectacular.
yes, I did that in, 2022, and it was incredible coming down
Oh,
from Machu
wow.
Picchu. Yeah, highly recommend.
So I have to give you a big dose of gratitude. I don't think I actually reached out to tell you this personally. It happened just recently that we had a new travel MBA in our last cohort that decided to join Gifted Travel Network as a direct result of learning from you on this live
Oh,
stream last year.
amazing.
She
Yeah,
referenced you
well,
specifically, and she
awesome.
loved the fact that you were new to industry and had been named to this list so early on in your
Yes.
travel business journey, and it was very inspiring for her. So
Aw,
you caused a
thank
ripple
you.
effect with that. And so on that note, being still sort of under 4 years in the
Mhm.
business, right? Still
Yeah.
relatively new by entrepreneurial, business standards. What advice or like what success tips would you have to somebody potentially watching this live stream or the recording of it that is not in the travel industry, loves travel, has always been told that, maybe they should do this, or they're booking travel for their family and friends anyways, and they're wondering if they should make a business out of it. Like, what would you say to them? Or what
Uh,
tips do you
I
have?
mean, I would say absolutely jump right in because I feel like the business is there. So many people, travel is just really back, and people want to have someone to guide them through it. They're busy in their everyday lives,
Mhm.
and they don't want to spend all the time, doing all the research. So there's definitely a need for more travel advisors, and I think there's plenty of business for all of us. So I would say, come on in. And then the other tip I would have, I might have said this last year too, is to have a support system, someone else in the travel industry who you can bounce ideas off of, who you can, maybe commiserate with. Sometimes we run into
Highs
bumps.
and lows with entrepreneurship.
Yeah, and so it's great to have that resource, and I think that GTN does a great job of providing that, and giving us the Facebook group and the camaraderie and in-person events where we can meet people. There's You may not know, there's actually a couple of advisors that were kind of in our same cohort area. We have a WhatsApp chat, and we talk,
Perfect.
and it's just advisors that we
So
met early
important.
on that have been a great
Yeah.
resource for us. So find that community, and I think you'll do amazing.
That's great advice. Community is key. You can't do it without a strong support system. And so when you find people that are similar to you and on your path and you have a resonance with, it's important to keep that relationship going and to nurture that. So that's great advice. Great advice. So many exciting things happening for you, Casey. Any final tips or maybe an outlook on the industry to share with anybody watching?
Oh, I mean, my outlook is incredibly positive. It's just I love this business. We did travel MBA in 2021 and did a hard launch of our business in 2022. So we are just about 2 years in now, and
Right.
it was like the best decision ever. I mean, as I do this with my sister Kitty, and um, it's been so much fun. My bucket list keeps getting longer and longer as I design trips for people. I'm like, I need to go
Sure.
on this trip.
Actually, you know what? That's a great question to end on. What is a trip experience that you want to do or send clients to that you didn't even know was possible? You didn't even know it was a thing before you started your travel business, but now you're in the industry and you're a subject matter expert and you're growing your awareness and knowledge.
Mm.
Like, what is an experience that you want to do that maybe you didn't think you would want? It wasn't on your radar previously.
Well, I would say actually Antarctica is
Okay.
high on my list, and it wasn't on my radar before. I like sunny locations, warm weather, beaches. But so this is complete opposite. But what I have learned about these Antarctic expeditions going on right now, both with like White Desert, with the Antarctic camps, or via the expedition ships with like Quark or Aurora, they look incredible.
They
And
are. Yeah,
I
they look
think the time to go is now, because I mean it's melting, so it's time to go. So it's
time to go. And there's a lot of amazing partners that you work with that will take your clients there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no doubt.
And I'm sure you'll get there soon too.
I hope so. Yeah, it's on my list. My list is so long though. It's like
Sure.
what's going to
It's a
happen
long list
first.
for all of us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. This was incredibly insightful. We love your energy and your contributions that you make, and congratulations on incredible momentum with just over 2 years in the business. It's really amazing. We love supporting you and Kitty. Thanks so much. We'll say goodbye to Casey, and we will bring on our next GTN advisor that is on the Condé Nast Traveler Top Travel Specialist list for 2024. Please welcome Julianne Hargett from H Luxury Travel. Hi, Julianne. Welcome, welcome.
How are you?
I'm good. Good to see you on here. And I just saw you. We were together in person just about a month ago now when we sailed on the Amamora for Gifted Travel Network Symposium. That was a lot of fun to be with you in person. Thanks for making time for this special presentation.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We love learning from you. And I know you are a dynamo in your business, so I can't wait to hear what your answers are to some of these questions here. Let's just dig in. I want to know what trends you are seeing for H Luxury Travel.
So I would say, similar to Casey, our business is built on referrals. And so the biggest trend is not necessarily a destination or a country, but the biggest trend that we're seeing are clients wanting experiences. They want to take their family, they want to get away from the hustle and bustle of daily life, and they want to have hands-on experiences where they can really check out and just have time together. So that's, I would say, the past year has been the biggest request. I was on the phone with clients earlier today, and that was one of her big things is I've got a son graduating high school and a son graduating college, and we want to have experiences together. We don't want to just check off going to the Coliseum or going to Florence. We want to have hands-on experiences that we're really going to remember for years to come.
What is an example of an experience that really left a beautiful memory for a family that you sent maybe to Italy or another destination?
Oh, goodness. So I would say, since we're talking about Italy, one of the biggest things is doing a private experience at the Vatican, whether it's opening the Vatican, having the keys.
That is possible.
There, whether it's doing the Sistine Chapel in the evening privately with just your group or your family. Those are some of the things that have truly left marks on families.
And because you have boots on the ground partnerships in Italy, you can basically make anything happen with the relationships that you've personally curated. And I know that's a really important part of being able to be a Condé Nast traveler, travel specialist, is being able to have that type of access. Your business is growing a lot, especially in the last year, and not just from trips that you're booking for your clients on top of the actual book of business that's building for H Luxury Travel. You're also building your team. So tell us a little bit about success tips. What tips do you have for viewers here? And you're also part of our Top Producers Club, and you, I know you have such an incredibly strong book of business. So what are tips that you have for advisors looking to get into this space?
So I would say, first of all, if you're wanting to get into the travel industry, absolutely you should. Like Casey said, there's plenty of business to go around.
It really
is. One of the biggest things is having a mentor, whether it's one or two mentors, having people that you can look up to, people that you can rely on. Community is, of course, very important. And just sticking to your foundation, whether that be impeccable service, which I think is very important. It's so rare these days to have that. So sticking to what you know and sticking to a niche, sometimes it takes a little bit of time to find that when you're new to the industry. But once you find that, really honing in on that, and that's truly your specialty. And that's what your clients see, and then they refer. And so that's one of the big things, offering extraordinary experiences. build our networks. And in building our networks, we are able to find the things that are not Googleable. And I know that's probably not a word, but we all use it.
We make it one. It's all good.
Building your network and then offering things to your clients that they can't find elsewhere. And so I think those are really the things that, you kind of stick to. You can't just reach out to a provider or a partner and say, my clients want to do X, Y, Z. You really dive in deep and get to know your clients. So then you can pair them with the experiences that really are going to resonate with them.
This might sound obvious, but like, what are tips that you have, or, I know it's kind of intuitive to you because you're really good at what you do, but like, what advice do you have for somebody that really just needs better strategies on getting to know their clients? Because that's ultimately why you're so good at what you do, is because you know your clients. So then it's easy to communicate that to the partner to bring things to fruition. But how do you get to know your clients to the level you need to know them?
So I think it starts in the beginning with your inquiry form, or however you receive clients. You want them to answer as many questions as possible. I ask a lot of questions. So when I'm on my initial call with clients, especially new clients, we're digging in deep. Like, what is your favorite weekend look like? What is your favorite snack? What do your kids love? What are the things that really drive you? Without asking for their blood type. So you really have to have kind of a process in place, which I know we talk about this a lot at GTN, but part of your process needs to be finding out more about your clients. And whether that's covering it in the initial call, or we send a form after they've been onboarded that dives a little bit deeper and that they can take a little time to fill it out, because all of our clients are busy. We work with busy executives, professionals. We don't want them to have to spend too much time, but we want them to know that these are the things that help us help you. And so we always follow up with a short form for them to fill out and give just a little bit more detail.
I love that tip. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Tell us about a really amazing trip experience that you're working on. I'm sure there's so many, probably really hard to choose.
I know. So Italy has been our top destination the past few years. Rome, London and Paris are also big destinations for us. But right now we're working on some really incredible experiences for Italy. We've got Lake Como for a girls' trip that they're going Lake Como and up into Switzerland. And then we have 2 really special trips for clients that were post-pandemic. They had some health issues and now they're like, we're healthy again. We want to travel. And they're doing 3 weeks for one group and then 4 weeks for another. And they're doing some really unique things, visiting some private designers in Italy, visiting the fashion houses, just really special things like that.
Are you sure that's not your trip? I know that's what you love.
Oh, yeah.
Are you sure that's not your trip?
I wish. I am going to Lake Como in June, but I'm not going to visit any fashion houses, but maybe next time.
What would you say your outlook is on the industry right now?
Oh gosh, the industry is booming right now. And, there's enough business for everybody. There's billions of people on the planet. And I think, it's going to stay that way for a while. I don't see anything slowing down. I think, again, post-pandemic, everybody really wants to travel. And it's not so much about the budget. It's about having that experience and creating those memories that you really can't get elsewhere. Travel changes you. Travel opens your eyes. And I think those are things that people are looking for. They're looking for those core memories and creating those with their loved ones. Anybody can buy their kid an iPhone, but let's do something that really makes a difference in their life.
And people are willing to invest in the right experiences. And speaking of which, my last question for you to give some insight on, we hear lots of talk about how much more an average, 7-night trip to Italy is right now versus pre-pandemic. And sometimes travelers that haven't been back to Europe, right, since the pandemic might not have a totally realistic expectation of how much it costs to do 5-star, that type of experience private in Italy right now. What would you say is a price point range of like a really solid 7-night trip to Italy right now for private type of experiences that you're describing?
Right. So that obviously is going to depend on the number of people. But if you're talking about a family of 4 or 5 and you really are going the 5-star route, you need to plan for, $40,000 to $60,000.
Right.
or up.
Right.
Some of the private experiences, while they are so memorable, and I wouldn't trade some of the ones we've had for anything, they are costly. And so when you're having those conversations, it is very good to educate your clients on, okay, this is what we're talking about doing. Let's make sure we're all on the same page about what that's going to cost. And I have found that when we present some of these really amazing experiences, clients cease to care what they cost.
Right.
They want that
They
experience.
want it.
Mhm.
They want it. That's such a great tip. And so you just have to put yourself in a position to recommend it and paint that picture, because the takeaway here from you, Julianne, is like they want these experiences, and they are looking for their travel advisor to recommend experiences that they couldn't have thought of on their own. And when presented correctly, they'll pay for it.
Right.
It's
Yes.
important because travel changes you. You said it
It
beautifully.
does. It does.
It really does. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise. It's always a pleasure. I will send you on your way. We've got some other GTN advisors waiting. Thanks, Julianne. We appreciate you.
Have a great day. Thanks, Vanessa.
Bye. All right. Some great insights there. We are going to move along to our third Gifted Travel Network advisor. Let's bring Stephanie Goldberg-Glazer on of Live Well, Travel Often. Stephanie is also affectionately known in the community as SGG. I'm surprised her name doesn't say SGG on the screen. Hello, hello. Good to see you and have you on for this special presentation.
Thanks for having me.
So 2 years in a row now, right? For this, or is this your,
this is the first year.
This is your first year. Yes, that's right. That's right. Congratulations. It's well deserved. You've built an incredible business. In fact, why don't you share a little bit about how your business started to where it is right now? Because I think that's incredibly inspiring for travel advisors that may have been in your position from where you started, to know that they can transition to where you currently are. And where you currently are right now, I will share, Stephanie is one of our absolute top advisors in the top 3. And she has built an incredibly strong multi-million-dollar business. And that was not the case when you first started. So what did that sort of trajectory look like for you?
Well, we only have a few minutes. So.
True.
No, but I'll make it short. The truth is, like, once you focus on something, whatever that thing is, right? I think Julianne was talking about a niche, and I started focusing more on luxury, as you know, for my clients. And that means different things to different people, right? It's not always the same thing. But I started focusing more on luxury and what we can do for our luxury clients, which is added amenities and upgrades and more free stuff. Everybody likes free stuff, and especially me. And I love getting people free stuff. And so, if you get this fantastic trip and then you add extras to it, who doesn't want that? It's amazing. But focusing on luxury and focusing on the luxury components that are more upscale hotels and private experiences and private touring with guides has really focused my business in that direction. And everybody wants it.
It's true. Surprising. And tell our viewers the difference that belonging to a hotel elite programs has made for your businesses. You've really done an amazing job of leaning into, Marriott Stars and Luminous, Four Seasons Preferred Partner, those programs. You didn't have access to them before, or we didn't either before we joined Virtuoso. Was really when that was illuminated to us. And I know it's made a big difference in your business. How do you leverage those programs?
Well, everything we do is a relationship, right? So if the relationship is with a hotel company or with our partners on the ground in country or whoever, right? It's super helpful and super important. And really it is the crux of what we do. It's not just getting people into a hotel. It's that we have people that we can call if we have a problem, or more often than not, before our clients visit a property, so their anniversary is taken care of. So their birthday is celebrated properly, which whatever that means to them, right? Some people don't want a cake and candles. Some people love a cake and candles. More sparklers, the merrier. And those kind of relationships have really allowed us to get a little bit deeper into those relationships with our clients as well. and just really expand what we offer people in the best way.
Yes, I love that answer. And I know I haven't actually officially asked you the one question that I had planned for, which is your top success tips for travel entrepreneurs. But I know you're giving some great answers from the questions I'm asking. What top tips do you have, especially as you've significantly increased your transaction sizes? So like what tips do you have for that? Generally, to be successful.
Part of that is really the market, right? Prices have gone up on everything. So if you've been working in this business for a couple of years and your transaction size has not grown in the past couple of years, that's actually a problem. Because it should just happen naturally based on the cost of things now. But one of the things that I think is the most important thing, like for people just starting, it's very easy to say, and people say this to me every day of my life, trust me. Oh my God, I want your life. I want to do what you do. And I ask that, so, every once in a while we have those days, right? And I might ask some people, which part of my job would you like? Would you like the constant flight changes? Or would you like the insurance claims where you have to help people out through tragic situations and have their beautiful lifelong dream trips canceled? I mean, what part of that do you want? No. I mean, I'm sometimes a little snarky about it. I know, hard to imagine. But, the truth is, like, those are the things that it's not all the glossy, pretty pictures, right? You have to be able to help people with 7,000 details. And actually, Ari is a great example of this. My husband, Ari, started working with me about 1.5 years ago. And he came from a legal background where he worked in these gigantic, massive lawsuits, which was a big thing that could take 3 years to get done or 5 years or whatever. And I said to him when he started, the biggest thing you need to do is get into the mindset that you're not doing these big, grand things that are taking years. You're dealing with 7,000 people and transfer drivers that don't show up. 7,000 details, all of them for one trip. And it's all to make sure one client's week or 10-day trip that they've saved for and they've planned for and gotten really excited about, we need to make sure that goes smoothly.
And that's why you are top travel specialist, because you hold these trips sacred for your clients, and you take every single piece of the experience extremely seriously. And I know that all of your colleagues at GTN share that sentiment, and that's part of what makes that's the difference between a good travel advisor and exceptional travel advisor is truly in these details. It's amazing the level of detail that you go to. I know we just have a short amount of time. I want to switch gears a little bit to ask you about what you think are top trends that you're seeing right now overall with travel.
I hate this question.
Oh, no.
But because like everything else, certainly there are things that happen all the time, right? Our top destination every single year, year after 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 year is Italy.
Italy.
It's always Italy. Everybody wants to go to Italy, whether you've been to Italy before or you haven't. And that's great. So Italy is not going anywhere. But some other fun, one of the other fun things that I think we've noticed in post-pandemic world, as opposed to a destination-specific trend, is people really don't want to wait to do their things. And it's not really so much as revenge travel as it is, like we've seen what our lives could look like, and it could be very different, and you don't know what tomorrow brings, and it's not promised, and maybe you just want to do it now when you can. So what that also means is a shorter time frame to plan. People are like, I don't want to wait till 2026. I want to go to Italy now. So it's April 11th, and I'd like to book my trip for June, please.
Like what Casey was saying.
Yes, now.
Yeah,
please,
just
and
now.
Thank you.
Now, another option is Slovenia, which I know you visited recently. Is that a great option for those that don't want the crowds in Italy?
It's for a different destination type. Really what we've seen is a lot of people that might want to go to Switzerland or to the Dolomites and spend a little bit less and have different kind of activities that they can do. We've been sending them to Slovenia.
Okay.
And those
Good
are
tip.
beautiful trips. You know, you can go to Slovenia and go to wine country and do cooking classes and hike in the Alps and go
So
on a
many
lovely
things.
sunset sail. I mean,
Yes,
so many
so
things you can
many.
do.
Well, as we wrap up, I want to ask you one quick hit question, which is tell us the travel experience that you're looking forward to personally experiencing coming up.
Well, just last week, Virtuoso announced their Virtuoso icon list for 2024. And the Virtuoso icon cruise this year is to Tahiti.
That's going to be amazing.
So I'm very much looking forward to that.
But also,
and it's also short and close in travel. It's in June.
to Tahiti. Oh my gosh. And I was also hoping you would say that you're looking forward to the top producers trip with me in Spain.
Yes. Well, you know what? Yes.
We are traveling together as a reward for last year. We're traveling with Made for Spain and Portugal. Stephanie and Ari are amongst our group of advisors that are going to experience an amazing destination that is Spain, which is a very hot destination right now.
Very hot destination. And, you know, we've been to most of the places that we're going before, but this is a chance to experience different hotels that we've stayed at in the past, another land operators' experiences, and see how they differ from our other operator experiences. And it's all good.
It's all good.
It's all good.
Thank you so much for your insights and enthusiasm. We love your passion. Thanks, SGG. I will say goodbye to you so we can bring on our next GTN advisor. Let's bring on Sandy Lipkowitz of We Make Travel Easy.
Hi, Vanessa. How are you?
Welcome, welcome. And you are live streaming in from your home office, right? And you're in San Francisco.
San Francisco, yes. So it's still technically morning here.
Yeah, so good morning. It's a pleasure to have you. Now, you have built an incredible business and you have just now imagined the next chapter of your business, which is extremely exciting. So I'd love for you to share with our viewers a little bit about that, because I think that will serve as inspiration for those that have their established book of business and starting to think about what that next chapter looks like for them. So tell us what's on the horizon for you.
Well, I'm very excited because, you know, I love my business and I love my clients and they're fabulous. But, you know, as we were all saying, you know, we're all looking at, you know, life and how that's changed and everything else. And I'm looking, because I'm aging into that age of it's time to have some time to travel for myself and to also visit friends and family and do that kind of stuff. But I don't want to leave the travel business. It's my passion and it's my love and, you know, my community and everything else. And so I was looking for a situation where I could bring in a younger person that I could mentor. And then COVID happened, that put the timeline back and everything else. And all of it just kind of popped into my mind one day. I have a very good colleague and friend who is also a member of the top producers in GTN, Lise Marie Wertanzel and of Sterling Journeys. And she just brought her amazing daughter into the business. And I thought, this is exactly what I'm looking for. So I approached the two of them and they were delighted. So I am going to, it's going to take, nobody's done this before. We're kind of pioneers in this. And we're kind of really figuring our way through the dark. But we're in the process of merging my business. We Make Travel Easy will sunset over time. And I will come in as director of development with Sterling Journeys. And I will do what I love to do, which is source new business, create new itineraries for clients. But the behind the scenes, the 7,000 details that Stephanie was talking about, which is like she's underestimating the number, honestly. I mean, if she only has 7,000, I want her clients.
I think it goes to show the level of detail is high.
Oh, it and beyond, and it changes. I mean, we don't book a trip and it's done. We book a trip and then it begins because the client wants this, because we're all in the level of, you know, white glove concierge type service. So if a client decides to change something or wants to do something or has a last minute, the answer is yes. But that, you know, puts a lot of responsibility and changes and all kinds of craziness for us behind the scenes. So what I'm hoping is to bring in the business, start it off with my clients, and then hand it off, because I will have more operations people behind me. And so then I can just keep doing, as we say, the rainmaking, and, just keep bringing the business in, and everybody will, have the same wonderful, seamless, fabulous experiences, but I'm not the one that has to do all of it.
Thank you for sharing that. I know that that's inspiring for so many members of our own GTN community, and for those that are listening to that for the first time. Hopefully that serves as inspiration of what's possible for what you can do with the incredible relationships that you built for yourself on this journey, this travel entrepreneurial journey. And so tell us a little bit about travel trends that you are seeing. And I'd love for you to give us your lens. And I know I asked you this question in advance, and I didn't put this layer for you, but I think it'll be easy for you to answer. And if you could put like a group spin to it, like travel trends that you're seeing for group travel, because we're still seeing a big emphasis on that.
Well, on the smaller side of kind of group is the multi-generational, and I'm seeing a lot of families, with grandma and the kids and the grandkids kind of going together. I've got a CPA. So Monday is kind of the end of his craziness. And on the following Saturday, he's taking, the children and the grandchildren, they're all going to the Dominican Republic to crash and burn. I've got festive booking a villa with the children and the grandchildren and everybody going together. So there's a whole lot of that kind of, and that becomes a group when you have 8 or 10 people. Even though they're a family, it's still a group, and they're all coming from different parts of the country and different places. And so everything's, different for all of them. I'm also seeing friends traveling together, 2 couples, 3 couples, 4 couples, doing that kind of stuff. People really want connection. We're talking about AI and everything, but it can be brilliant on a lot of levels, but there's no humanness. There's no heart in that. There's no really contact. And so people are really wanting that. And I'm also seeing organizations, because they also want to reach out to their constituents, their owners, their donors, their whatever, and, kind of have that togetherness. And especially because so many of us, our loved ones are different parts of the country. When do we get to be there together? And I can't tell you, one of the most rewarding things I have is when people come back to me, and I'm just doing a festive trip for a family, and she says, you did Croatia, and we keep talking about it, and it was the best trip we ever had. And she took her teenage kids, and now one of them didn't go. Now all 3 of them are going on the next trip because they have FOMO from missing out on the last trip. So, it's that kind of stuff, really wanting to be together with the people you love.
I love that answer so much. And why I went the groups path with Sandy is because Sandy is very knowledgeable in that space, and you've put together great groups for organizations. Give our viewers an example of one of the river cruise groups that you've put together that I know was very rewarding for you, both just personally fulfilling and also professionally, like financially fulfilling as well.
Yes. Well, I have south of San Francisco is a kind of like an English manor house, but it's a California manor house with 600 plus acres of gardens and everything else. Actually, it was where President Biden met with the president of China at the APAC convention that was here just a couple of months ago. The private place that they met was actually that mansion.
Oh, wow.
And I have put together several years of travel for them where, we would go to gardens around the world and have an itinerary, and they would market it to their donors. But it was a fundraiser. So in order to go on the trip, whoever was going on the trip had to make a minimum set donation to the organization. And then the executive director or members of the board would travel with these people. So you're not only traveling with people who share your same desires and interests and everything else, you're also traveling with your donors and supporters. And we all know how many letters we get in the mail with heart-wrenching things about, nonprofits that are doing amazing work. And, there's only so much you can give. But if you travel with a nonprofit that's really close to your heart, the chances of you moving your donations away is like slim to nothing. And also the possibility of creating larger donations is really there, because I still have people that they discontinued for a couple of different reasons, but I still have people who traveled on trips with me writing to me and saying, oh, I love that. It was so much fun. I wish Filoli would bring their travel back again.
I love that story. So inspiring, Sandy. Thank you. And I know we're just out of time, but I do want to end with one final sort of lightning round style question. what is a destination as a, Condé Nast traveler, top travel specialist, you would recommend that travel advisors as well as luxury discerning travelers put on their radar that maybe might not be on their radar? Like, what's a destination that you visited or would like to visit that you think should be on the radar of others?
That's hard. I mean, I love Africa, and people have been to Africa, and I can't tell you how many Africa safaris I'm doing right now. Africa is really, really hot, and I've got them booked into
Africa.
2025 because Africa, you need to do a year to a year and a half in advance because the camps are small.
Okay.
But then there's areas like the stands, Uzbekistan, Afghanistan, all those areas there. People are starting to want to, right after pandemic, people went back to Europe because it was familiar and comfortable. Now people are starting to reach out to other areas and go there before everybody else goes.
That's such a great tip. Thank you so much, Sandy. Congratulations on this next chapter that you were imagining for We Make Travel Easy. It's very exciting to see it all unfold within Gifted Travel Network. We really appreciate your time today. I will send you back to continue to enjoy your morning out in San Francisco.
I couldn't do it without GTN. The support and the background and the love of the family is just amazing.
Thank you so much, Sandy. We'll be in touch. Enjoy the rest of your day. We will send Sandy on her way so that we can welcome our next Gifted Travel Network advisor, and that is Anna Harrison of Travel Observations. Hello, Anna, and a big warm welcome to the live stream. Thanks for making time.
Thank you. It's so nice to see you.
It's nice to see you too. I wish it was in person, but I will take it. It's always a pleasure to learn from you. You've built an incredible business. I know that you've got a lot of momentum going from last year over year to this year. Tell us about how your business is looking right now and what your outlook is on the industry.
I have a very positive outlook on the industry. I think, as many of my colleagues said, the business is there. There's no need to feel like there's any competition. There's more than enough to share. And I'm seeing a lot of adaptability. And we saw that when the pandemic hit. We saw how the travel industry adapted and came up with new places to travel and new ways to travel. And I feel like we're still seeing that momentum where it's, okay, some cities are becoming over touristy. So, let's make connections with villas in the countryside. Let's go to tier 2 cities and these other destinations. Let's create these memories together instead of just following a tour guide around with a flag. And so I think that we're keeping up with the demands and being able to present, the trips of everyone's dreams. I feel like we finally have opportunity to say, well, we've always been able to do it, but now you really want it. So let's go crazy.
Oh, I love that perspective. Tell our viewers a little bit about your business, how long you've had it, a little bit about what you were doing previously, and now the role that you play in your business. I think that's really inspiring for those that might be considering an opportunity in the luxury travel advisor space.
Thank you. I design thoughtful trips for discerning travelers, and I mainly work with busy professionals and hotel aficionados and luxury adventure seekers that really want to not use Google anymore. I think that the days of printing off a famous blogger's day-by-day itinerary and just following what some person on the internet told you to, I think we're sort of past those days. And now I'm seeing
a saturation point with that.
Exactly. And so now it's more authentic expertise that people are craving. And so when my travelers call me, for me, I really built my business on authenticity, and my travelers know all the places I've been and how much I love my favorite destinations. And so instead of just offering them cookie cutter itineraries, I'm trying to inspire them, and I'm doing the work for them. I'm finding out what they like to do. And then I am able to create that without them even asking for it. I have a client going to
anticipate needs is key in our profession.
Exactly. And I've had all of my careers have been international. I worked in international development for 3 years. I've lived in Western Africa, working on women and girls empowerment programs. I've been an international student advisor and international student recruiter. And so I've always had a lifetime of coaching other people and helping them with cross-cultural communication. And so for me, being a luxury travel advisor, I get to marry those skills and those passions of loving travel and seeing how it can open your eyes to borders beyond the ones that you're accustomed to, but also knowing that every client is different. I think that's what also makes a travel advisor good. Talking to an experienced traveler is different than talking to someone. It's their first trip that they're going to invest in. They're a little nervous. How do you approach them? How do you make them feel good about sending over that deposit? Or how do you talk to someone who maybe's traveled a little bit, but maybe doesn't know as much as they think they know? Or
Yes.
the other way, encouraging them. Yes, you can do this. You're hyping them up, right? I feel like we're either psychologists or hype teams most of the time to tell them they deserve these amazing experiences.
They do. I know you mentioned that you've been in sort of a coaching role and that you're kind of coaching your clients and that you've done that in previous capacities. And I know, speaking of coaching, you also serve as a mentor in our travel business university programs. And we're super grateful to have your expertise for those in the various calls that you are hosting. Tell us, from your experience in listening to travel advisors and coaching and giving advice to travel advisors, what tips do you have for travel entrepreneurs right now? Or what are like maybe common like themes in terms of stuck points that you're hearing from travel advisors right now? And how do you move them through that?
So I've always subscribed to the theory that if you treat people right, success follows. Don't chase success, chase the act of treating people right, and everything else follows through. But I put a twist on that. Also, if you treat your clients well, success will follow. But my twist is you are also included in that treat people right. And so if you start your business by treating yourself right, what are your boundaries? What trips do you want to take on? And I know it's hard, right? We've all said right when you're starting out, you maybe do take on trips you're not sure about or aren't your niche. Right. But as you get more and more clear, start trusting that intuition. If you don't need to take on a trip and you get that email, don't let a scarcity mindset make you say yes to all business. If you already have that feeling in the pit of your stomach just reading it and you're not excited to plan that trip, go ahead and ask a colleague if they'd like to take it on, or ask for a partner to help you through it, or just tell that client that you're not the best fit. And I don't know any advisor who has had an experience where they've started out a trip saying, I don't think this is the right fit, and they haven't been correct about that. You always, know when it's the right fit. And it's not anything about the clients. There are amazing clients that are still not the best fit, whether that's your expertise or your communication. So I think that if you start, what's that proverb? Start as you mean to begin. Just have those boundaries and don't always jump in. It's okay to take a second when you get that email. Don't respond in 5 minutes. And it's okay to call a friend, call a mentor and say, I'm not sure about this. Can you walk me through it? Is this me being scared of leveling up, or is this truly a red flag and maybe this isn't the right fit for me at this time?
And love there's no your answer. Thank you so much. For viewers, you can see why, and as part of our coaching team here at Gifted Travel Network. Thank you for sharing that. You referenced before about some of your favorite destinations. As we get to the end of your time, I'd love to get some inspiration from you as somebody that's extremely well traveled. What are your favorite destinations that you feel don't get as much sort of social media airtime maybe as other destinations that you really want for travelers to consider?
Okay, so you threw me for a loop with the social media, but I do have a couple answers, and I would say actually a couple destinations in South America. These destinations are amazing. Ecuador in particular is one of my favorites. I've been there 4 or 5 times, and so many people think of Ecuador as the Galapagos, and you only fly there to go to the Galapagos Islands. And land Ecuador is fabulous. You can go, horseback riding in a volcano, extinct volcano crater. I still have leather luggage that I bargained for in a market up in the mountains. The food's amazing. Quito, the capital city, has amazing international, like modern restaurants. And I had a client once who went to Ecuador, and we found her, this was years ago, this adorable hotel at the foot of one of the volcanoes, but it was shaped like a hobbit house.
Ooh,
So she had this super unique stay and with a round door and this view overlooking this lake. And, so many of us view these destinations as hopping off points where you should stay and, explore it some more. So I think that South America in general, Ecuador specifically, but other destinations like, Bolivia, Argentina, all of that are just, and Colombia, of course. But I just think there's so much to be discovered there. And I don't think that they're having a moment like some of the other European destinations that I would, maybe have mentioned previously.
Agreed. As you know, I'm biased to Peru as my parents are both born and raised there. I just came back from the A&K 100 Club event in Chicago, and I spent a lot of time with one of the general managers of the for Peru for A&K, and we got on a whole conversation around Arequipa and that whole area of Peru, which I have not been to myself. And that is now become like number one priority for me because I have familial ties to Arequipa, and people don't think of Peru beyond Machu Picchu and Lima, but there's just so much more to discover within Peru. So I love that you brought up South America because there's just so much to discover with South America. And while everybody's going to Europe, go to South America and use a travel advisor, a top Condé Nast traveler, top travel specialist like Anna to help put that together for you. So thank you so much for that inspiration, Anna. It's always a pleasure to hear from you. Your wisdom is just so appreciated in the community. I think Anna wins the award for, if we could make up an award for Anna, it would have to do with how you help your fellow GTNers craft the language, the vernacular, the words that they're all thinking about using for responding to clients. Oftentimes, travel advisors, they come to the forum, they're like, here's a situation, here's how I'm thinking of responding. And then they put it there to get some help and feedback, to collaborate. And Anna is always like, everybody is always like hoping that Anna responds because you always give the best, most finessed, wonderful answers.
Thank you. It's those years of helping, nervous students and their parents. So you have to, thank you.
Thanks for your contributions. We're going to say goodbye to Anna now. Oh, you know what, Anna, before I say goodbye to you, there was a comment here for you from Sophia. Curcio, am I saying that right? Went to Ecuador on Anna's recommendation. Love keto. So you've got
that's my sister.
So you got some love in the chat. So I love that.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, Anna.
Thank you.
I'm going to bring on our final GTN member, another top producer as part of Condé Nast Traveler Top Travel Specialist Inside Scoop presentation. Please join me in welcoming Heather Parker of Bliss Travel Experiences. Hi, Heather.
How are you? I'm doing well.
Good to see you. Thanks for making time for this presentation. And Heather is also part, like Anna, a part of the coaching portfolio within our travel our travel business university team. So you also give your time to GTN in that capacity. So thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Oh, thank you.
So tell our viewers a little bit about your business, how long you've been in business for, and what your sort of outlook is right now in the industry.
Sure. I've been in business almost 10 years. So in September will be the 10-year anniversary. Before that, I worked.
We're gonna have a party.
I know. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do about that right now. But before that, I was in the banking industry for about 20 years. And so it was a big pivot for me. A lot of people thought I might be crazy, but it's really paid off. And I'd say the biggest thing I'm seeing right now is that things are just, the people who have money to spend on travel want to travel. And there's more this year than there was last year. So 2022 and 23 were great, like rebound years, after the pandemic, people just wanted to travel so much. And first quarter 2024, our Bliss team's business is up 53% from first quarter 2023. So it's not stopping at all.
Is your business from Q1 made up primarily of existing clients, or is there a good balance of new business? And where is that new business coming from?
I would say probably 60 to 70% is repeat business with existing clients who have traveled with Bliss before. And then the other piece of that is usually referrals from either clients where someone says, my friend and her family went to Greece last year and they can't stop talking about it. Please help me and my family. Or just through Virtuoso. A lot of referrals come in that way, and that kind of thing. So it's great when there's, people have touched me before in some way, because then they're much more comfortable understanding either whether it's through friends who have traveled with Bliss or Virtuoso with all the reviews that are there. People often say like, oh, I loved that you've done a multi-generational trip to Hawaii and that's just what we're looking for, and that high touch or whatever. So I think that feels much better for consumers when they know that other people have been really happy.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What types of trips is there like a consistency for the types of trips you're planning right now for your guests? Is there
I would say it's the consistency really is that people are either booking with me more of a complex trip or just hotels. So most of my business is more of a complex trip where it's 7 or more days. They want to do and see a whole bunch of things, and they might have even been there before, but they don't want to plan it themselves. So they're looking for help on the front end with like, here, Heather, take this from me. And I often say it's kind of like having all your receipts in a box and just giving them to your accountant at tax time and saying, please put this together in a nice package for me. You're the expert. You know where all the ins and outs of like where I can get my deductions and all that stuff. And that's kind of how we are, right? We're working with specialists in that part of the country, in that part of the world, where we know the ins and outs of like, what are the best days to do this or this, or, not just any food tour, but here's the walking food tour in Trastevere that everybody raves about, with a great guide or whatever. So I like to bring in, depending on what those particular people's priorities are for that trip, if they want to entertain their teenagers and not have them be bored, or some other people are a couples trip where they're really interested in architecture and history. Everybody has a different priority. So I like trying to figure out what that is, and then, making it perfect based on.
I love that. And as a coach in our Travel Business University, I know when you attend a lot of calls yourself as well. So you're really hearing a lot of the questions that are coming in from our travel advisors across a variety of experience levels and business models. What tips do you have for travel advisors, not in Gifted Travel Network, that don't have the access to the sort of discussions that we have and listening to the types of conversations that we listen to on a weekly basis? Like, what tips do you have for travel advisors in terms of being successful in today's new landscape? Because it is different than it was even last year.
Yeah, I think some of the mistakes a lot of newer travel advisors make is that they assume that their potential clients travel just like they do. So they assume that the budget of this person that they're talking to on the phone is exactly what they would want to spend, or which may be very, very different, So like, my personal budget for a trip to wherever, Japan, is not the same as any of the 5 people who I'm planning for. And all of their priorities and budgets might be different. So the biggest thing is not to plan based on your personal preferences, but plan based on their preferences. And then I also heard a couple of other people talk about, networking within the travel advisor industry. Even from first getting started, I made some great friends who were mentors to me and have helped me along the way. And even when you're an experienced person in the business, there are those days, we won't even think about 2020, but there are the days in the industry that are just tough, like
entrepreneurship, highs and lows.
Exactly. There's a train strike and your clients are stuck and they couldn't get from Paris to Nice or whatever it is. And, as good advisors, we don't like when people are disappointed. We want people to be thrilled. So anytime a client has a hiccup, that's a tough day. And having people who also know what's happening and have been through it has been really helpful to me. That's
a great tip. Now, speaking of Japan, you're booking for Japan. That's a request coming in. So what are some trends? Because I know we've got a lot of partners that are actually have what's called in our industry as a stop sell right now, because I just can't handle that business. Tell us about just as a final thought on Japan, because that is a very big popular destination.
Yeah.
What are tips that you have for travelers thinking of wanting to visit Japan, and that's the top of the list? What should they be expecting?
Yeah. I think with Japan specifically, similar to what Sandy was saying for Africa, that's the destination where you really need to start planning well in advance. Maybe not a year in advance, but at least 6 months in advance. I think Japan kept their doors closed, so to speak, to visitors after the pandemic for a lot longer than many, many other countries in the world. So it was almost like the demand was so pulled in tight. Once they opened their doors, it's been gangbusters for them, right? So it's not just cherry blossom season that Japan is hot. Japan is busy all the time. So summer in Japan, if you're planning for 2025, I would start this fall, no later than this fall. And the other thing that I would say too is don't just think of Japan as Tokyo and Kyoto, but think about doing maybe a ryokan stay, up near Mount Fuji, and really seeing the culture and different parts of what Japan has to offer, other than just the bigger and medium-sized cities.
I love that tip. And what I just learned, I feel like I should know this, but there's so many things about the travel industry that we think we should know because we work in travel, but you're just learning every week, every year. Being at the A&K event, I was hearing about the new DMC that A&K has now started in South Korea. And did you know that they have an equally as robust cherry blossom season also?
I didn't. And I live in DC, so I should know this.
So and also A&K also offers expedition, like luxury cruising around Japan, which I think is a really interesting way to see Japan if you don't want to be traveling around, but you can just stay on the ship and then visit the different parts of Japan during cherry blossom season, which I thought was a really unique way to visit that destination as well. But if you have clients that are willing to explore a new emerging destination specifically for cherry blossoms, that is one to consider.
Yeah, and I hear more and more about people going to South Korea now. I mean, it's higher on the list for travelers than it was, let's say, 5 years ago, for sure.
And many of our partners now have boots on the ground there, so you can easily partner with one of our preferred partners and send somebody there, and they'll have an amazing time. So there we go. Heather, thank you so much for your time and your wisdom. We really appreciate it. Congratulations on being named a Condé Nast Traveler Top Travel Specialist. And we're excited to see, pardon?
Tongue twister.
I know, it is a tongue twister. I know. I feel like I've gotten it right the whole time, but there
have
one or two times that I slipped up. But congratulations.
Thanks for having me, Vanessa.
For our business in general. And we look forward to seeing you again. Thank you, Heather.
Have a good one.
Thanks. So thanks again to all of our Gifted Travel Network advisors. Thank you to Casey, Julianne, SGG, Sandy, Anna, and Heather for making time for this special inside scoop. I thoroughly enjoyed the session. I always learn from our advisors. And if you learned from our GTN members and their wisdom that they shared with you today, just drop a comment as well so that we can share that with them. If you're looking to join Gifted Travel Network, it's really easy. You just visit us at giftedtravelnetwork.com and you can schedule an appointment to speak to us to see if we are a good fit for you, whether or not you are an experienced advisor or you're completely new to the industry. We have the right support to help you grow, but just schedule an appointment and we'll have a conversation and see if that's the right fit. So on that note, I want to send everybody at Gifted Travel Network that made the Condé Nast Traveler Top Travel Specialist for 2024. We had a great group of advisors that were listed. So thanks again for those that could make time to share their wisdom. Thanks again to the marketing team for putting this together. And it was a pleasure to be here with all of you. We look forward to staying connected. Have a great rest of your day. Bye, everyone.